Your reality is not ignoring you. It is matching the version of you that it is seeing, feeling, and sensing the most. Your self-concept is the blueprint. It runs everything from your love life, from your money, your abundance, your health, your opportunities, your experiences, literally everything. And if your life sucks, it's because your self-concept sucks. Let's say your general self-concept is great. You believe you're worthy, you believe you're lovable, you believe you are beautiful and that you deserve good things. So why are certain areas of your life still not reflecting that? I talked about this a couple years ago on my previous self-concept video, which you can watch there. This is going to be an expansion on that concept, micro self-concept. And this is why the pattern is so sneaky and so sticky. On the surface, it seems like you are attracting in what you want, right? Like you are able to bring the thing in, or at least a version of it. Your life is not in survival mode anymore, but it's still not the full version of what you want to experience, right? So you're calling in things, you're calling in money, you're calling in love, success, all the things, but then it fizzles. You can't hold it. It goes away. Something goes awry. This is what I like to call the almost version of your dream life, the almost version of love, the almost version of success, the almost dream income level, almost the life you want, but not the full thing. Do you know how frustrating that is? I have been there. You might be there. If you are resonating with anything that I'm saying and you're nodding like, oh my God, that's me, that is because it is your micro self-concept is the issue. It's not your general self-concept. Consciously, you do believe you are worthy. You do believe you're beautiful. Like I said, you're not walking around hating yourself. You're not insecure. You're not like this shell of yourself, but your life is still not the full thing yet. It's not your general self-concept that is sabotaging you. It is the tiny, subtle, unnoticeable things that are still lurking in the background. The invisible ways you are thinking, feeling, believing things about yourself, believing things about your, ability to have what you want, your relation to that thing. It's all those micro moments that are stopping you from getting the full thing. You're able to bring it in because your general self-concept is amazing, but it's those small moments that you're not conscious of that are signaling to your reality, reflect this back to me. So what is your micro self-concept? Your micro self-concept is your unconscious identity that you're leaking into those unguarded moments, those split-second moments, the way you talk, the way you feel, the way you think, what you're telling yourself about what you want, what you're telling yourself about how you're showing up in the world, those micro moments that are extremely overlooked, those passing moments is what I like to call them. That is your micro self-concept. These are the things you are telling yourself, believing about yourself, thinking to yourself when no one's watching, when you're not performing, when you're not on, you're not with people. It's those silent moments that are looping in your head while you are just doing you, while you're by yourself, while you're doing the dishes, while you're at the gym, while you're passing yourself in a mirror quickly, while you're doing your skincare, the things you're thinking of before you drift off to sleep, when you fail at something, the things that you're telling yourself. It's very, very silent. It's very, very invisible. And that is why nobody is catching it, because it is so tiny. And when we are doing this type of work and when we're doing our self-concept work and we are getting to a very good place, or we are in a very good place with ourselves and with our identity and what we feel about ourselves, we are overlooking this very small portion. And it's this tiny little portion that takes you to the next level, takes you to that full thing that you want. It bridges the gap between the almost version and the full version. And the reason why people get so stuck is because we don't realize that reality, the universe, is reflecting back to us this version. The version of us that is not polished, that is not conscious, those are the things that are being reflected back to us the most. That is why we're able to bring them in, but we're not able to keep them because they keep running from us, because in those moments we are telling ourselves something that is causing reality to mirror that back to us, because that is the subconscious, that is the unconscious thing, and that is the more powerful thing than just telling yourself that you're beautiful, okay? Like, we can all do that. It's very easy to do that, but are you believing that? Are you truly embodied in that? Are you feeling that truly in your core when you don't have makeup on, when you're having a bad hair day, when you're having a bad makeup day, when you're on your cycle? And we're all not looking cute on our cycle, okay? We just turn into ogres basically on our cycle. And in that moment, are you looking at yourself being like, ew, you're so disgusting. Like, I hate everything about you. Those moments, those are the things compounding, creating your micro self-concept. And this is why you're getting the thing and then it's slipping into and reflecting back to you this almost version of it. So you're attracting this really amazing man. He's high value. He's emotionally available. All the things, like all the check boxes are being checked. And then all of a sudden things start changing. Like he starts to become a little avoidant, a little hot and cold. He's becoming a bit distant. You're noticing that you're now chasing. You're now doing the pursuing. You're trying to keep the connection alive. Something has switched in you because of this connection that is now causing him to reflect that back to you. Everything in our life, if we look at our life right now, like if I look at my life right now, I know that it is a very obvious reflection of what I'm telling myself. So if I'm experiencing something in an almost way, that is just evidence to me. It's coming through another person and it can feel so real. That is who they are. They're being mean. They're, playing games with me. But just try to avoid looking at it that way and try to look at it as this is a mirror. Whatever I'm experiencing right now in my reality is evidence of what I'm thinking, feeling, believing, and constantly telling myself in relation to myself and in relation to the thing that I want. So look around at your reality. I do this all the time and I'm scanning and I'm like, what do I want to keep from my reality right now? Okay, I'm going to nurture that self-concept because I'm clearly doing something right? So that is staying. We're nurturing that. What am I looking around at and thinking, this is awful. I don't want to experience this. This is not the version of the thing that I want. Okay, we're going to release that right now. That's done. We're no longer continuing to feed that version of what we don't want. And then we look around for the third thing, and that is, what do we want to bring in? Okay, let's start embodying that. So you're doing three things. You're looking around for what you like and what you want to keep. You're looking around for what you don't want and what you're like, okay, I don't want this thing anymore. It needs to go. And then you're looking around for what you want to bring in to replace that. So always take inventory of your reality, of your life. And if it is not reflecting what you want to experience, you have to go within and you have to do some digging. And I'm telling you right now, it is micro self-concept. Think of your overall general self-concept as the main theme. And then think of your micro self-concept as the sub-theme, okay? So what is the difference? Your main themes are I'm worthy, I'm lovable, I'm beautiful, I'm confident, I'm secure. Those are, let's say, 5 main themes in your life. And then your sub-theme is literally an extension of each main theme. So in your main theme of I'm lovable, some sub-themes could be parts of me are too much. I'll just maybe adjust a little bit to keep things smooth and light so that the connection continues. My needs are a little bit inconvenient. Maybe it's going to be too much if I tell this person what I'm needing or what I'm wanting in this connection. So you attract the really great guy in, but once it starts to get a little bit deeper, things start to switch to the almost love. Like I said, they start pulling back. All of a sudden now they're emotionally unavailable because now that you have attached, you are now in control mode, right? So now your attachment is creating control in you. It's creating overthinking. It's now making you very hyper vigilant on what you need to filter, what you need to perform, what you need to fix or change about yourself in order to keep this person in your life. Now they mirror that exact version of you that you are giving yourself to you in their behavior. In money, of course, your main theme is I'm abundant. I believe that I'm worthy of money. Like, of course, right? But when I get the money, I don't trust that this is gonna last. That's your sub-theme. That's what's playing out. You land that high cash month, you land that huge client, and then the next month, everything's dried up, nobody's coming in, there's crickets, because now you have received the big thing, you're now contracting, you're tightening up your energy, you're now stressing, oh my God, can I repeat this next month? Is this going to last? That's your sub-theme playing out. Now let's talk about the core principle of your micro self-concept and what this all really even means, okay? If reality is a mirror, it is not just reflecting back to you the big themes, the main themes, the conscious identity that you're holding, or that you think you're holding, or that you think you're running, right? It is reflecting back to you that plus all the sub-themes. It's reflecting back to you your baseline emotional state, your default stories when the stakes are high, your default stories and beliefs when the thing lands in, and then your ability to hold it. So you're probably at a place right now where you're able to call it in, but then it sort of vanishes, like I said, goes into almost love, almost money, almost, and you're confused. It's because once it's landing, it's feeling very unsafe in your body. So you've mastered the ability to call it in, but now the safety in which you are able to hold it and have a place for it to land and stick is a little bit rocky. It's those micro behaviors, those micro thoughts, that micro energy and emotional state that is screaming safety or I'm not ready. So right now, really think about what you're able to call in and why you think it's leaving. And I'm going to leave a very good tip at the end of this, so stick around, because oftentimes we spend years trying to figure out, well, why is it not still yet landing, or why is it landing and then it's going away? Instead of trying to spend years figure out what the heck your specific problem is and what you need to work on, I'm going to give you a tip that will let you figure it out in literally 0.5 seconds. So you are focused on that, and that's all you need to worry about to fix. Okay, so hopefully that made sense. Just stick around and I will share that with you. And it's those tiny slip ups, those tiny loops that are telling the mirror that is reflecting back to you, because like I said, that is the core principle. Reality is just a mirror for your internal state, your beliefs, your emotions, etc. If it's those tiny slips that are telling the mirror, give me the version of this thing that I want that's safe enough for my smaller identity. So I only want money that is safe enough for this version of me to hold. I only want love that is matching the version of love that I only feel safe with. The mirror is exact. It will give you exactly what you tell it to. It listens and it reflects it back. So this is where the shift comes in. And this is what most people are missing. Fixing your micro self-concept is not about now we're going to add more to our plate. Now we got to go back to the drawing board of healing. We got to do more. Now we're going to spend a couple of months trying to get this sorted. No, we don't need to be doing any of that. You don't need to get more motivated. You don't need to do more shadow work, because all of those things imply another waiting period, another holding period. We are done with that. We are getting from here to here instantly. We're not going to be like, okay, now we got to set this goal and we got to do this every single day, and then we're going to wait a couple months and then it's going to come. No. Self-concept is not built over months of routines. It's an instant identity switch. From the moment you decide this is who I am now, it's done. Just that conscious awareness of you claiming that and deciding that has already placed you in the timeline of the reality you want to experience or the thing that you want to experience. Anything that comes after that is now just reinforcing that decision. And that part is like the nervous system might need a little bit of time to catch up. But the decision in itself is instant and immediate. It's literally just about refusing to run that old script, because what happens is, like I said, we go from here to here. This is where we want to be. And then all this void space here is the waiting period. It's the holding cell. It's the, oh my gosh, divine timing and all of that. And that's just a little bit of nonsense. Divine timing does play a part, but that's another video. This is about an instant switch. So once you decide right now, I am no longer running this old script, that old script just dissolves. It can no longer be alive in your reality unless you continue to give it energy. If you're looking around and you're like, I don't want to experience that, but then you keep feeding it with your mind, you keep feeding it with your emotions, it is going to keep playing out, even though you don't want it. So instead of putting your energy there, put it toward the thing that you actually want. Both are neutral. I keep explaining this in my videos that negative and positive are very neutral states. Not one is better than the other. It's just that you get different experiences with one or the other. And obviously, positive is the love, the money, the success. And if we can channel our energy into the negative for that to keep playing out, we can also channel our energy into the positive and have that work out. So just take your attention off the thing that you don't want in moment. And we're going to get to how you're practically going to do this, because I do love a game plan. Like when I'm watching people, I love when they give me like a step-by-step to-do list. So I will give you that, but I'm trying to explain that you don't actually need that. You just need to stop paying the thing you don't want attention. Okay. It's not about asking yourself constantly, how do I get there? And what do I need to do? That is implying that you're still not there. That is self-concept. It's not wanting, it's not hoping, it's now. You are just being that person now. So now we're going to give you the step-by-step game plan so that your micro self-concept stops leaking into your daily life. Step number 1 is to catch the trigger. Your micro self-concept is switching on whenever your nervous system is bracing for impact. If it's bracing for rejection, if it's now attached to a certain person, to a certain thing, to a certain outcome, it switches on. And it's like, okay, every single wound attached to this is now going to flare up. And that's your micro self-concept. So you in a dating dynamic might be super calm and relaxed and magnetic at the beginning because you don't have feelings for this man. Then all of a sudden you start gaining feelings for him, and now you are overthinking everything. Like every text is do or die. You are now leaking your micro self-concept into this dynamic. And that micro self-concept, aka your sub-theme, can be playing out in various ways that are specific to you, and that is what you get mirrored back. So now you're aware of this, you must be very vigilant to the triggers. So if you're in that dating dynamic and you know that your sub-theme is a fear of being seen fully and all the way, then in that dynamic you are conscious of it. Like, okay, I'm starting to feel attached. What part of me is pulling myself back? What part of me is trying to hide right now because I'm scared of being seen? Because now I like this person and now it's getting deeper. That deeper feeling, that depth is now flaring up my nervous system to say this is not safe, pull back. So notice the triggers and catch them. Step number 2 is simple, and that's just pause. Pause and ask yourself what you're about to do, if it's coming from a place of genuine intention and it's coming from truth, or it's coming from a scared place. It's coming from survival rather than safety. Step number 3 is diving deeper into step number 2. Ask yourself questions like, am I doing this because it's who I am? Or am I doing this certain action or behavior, saying this certain thing to perform, to micromanage so that the connection doesn't slip away from me? Am I doing it because I think it's going to keep me safe, chosen, or accepted? Make sure you're asking yourself where this thing is coming from. And you have to be so honest with yourself, because if you answer those questions and you're like, yeah, I am doing this to feel accepted or chosen or safe or, whatever, then you have to stop, because that is your old identity playing out. That is your old loops trying to grasp at you and trying to get you to give in to them. It's your old emotional state flaring up. That is the old identity. And like I said, what you give attention to is what plays out. So in that moment, you know that it's your old identity. Do not give it attention and just throw it away. Go back to step number 2, where you're pausing and you're just taking a deep breath, a DB, and you're just checking yourself, basically. Those are the very intricate moments that are going to have your micro self-concept come out and be like, no, I shouldn't say that because then maybe he won't like me. Like, for example, if somebody used to ask me if I was into astrology, I would lie and say no, but I am obsessed with astrology. Like, I truly do believe in astrology. I think of it as something that it's like your blueprint of your entire life. It can truly transform your life when you understand yourself through your, natal chart and all the other intricacies of it. But I used to lie and be like, no, I'm not really into it. But it's like, I'm totally into it. Like, if you look at I've got crystals, I've got tarot cards. Like, I'm very into metaphysical stuff. That is one of my favorite hobbies. So that's a little insight into one of my personal sub-themes, right? My main theme is, yes, I'm super confident in who I am. But then a sub-theme was, am I safe expressing my full version, which is like all my woo-woo stuff. Like, I'm very woo-woo. And I wasn't feeling safe in those moments to express that. So I would lie, right? And when you're abandoning that part of yourself, obviously you're going to be abandoned by that person. They're mirroring back to you what you're giving yourself. So that's a theme that used to play out in my life, where I was lying about parts of myself that I felt obviously secretly ashamed of, because all guys are like, astrology is a bunch of nonsense. So if you really look at that, right, if we're trying to be chosen by somebody, we're hiding parts of ourselves that are authentic to ourselves, and that is going to cause you to be in a situation that is totally misaligned, and that person is going to reflect back to you what you're abandoning in yourself. So they might show up and they might start getting avoidant, they might start pulling back, and you're wondering, why is this changing? Ask yourself what you're changing within yourself to keep this connection, and then you'll piece the puzzle together. And step number 4 is choose the pedestal action always. You have to be so obsessed with yourself in a very, very embodied way, higher self way, not egoic. You have to be so sure of yourself and tuned into yourself where you could care less if someone looked at you and was like, you're a freak for loving astrology. People think people are freaks for loving astrology. If you are okay with that, you're embodied. If you're okay with somebody not choosing you because they don't like certain things about your personality, personality, that's okay with you. As long as you are on that pedestal and you never take yourself off of it, and your thoughts of yourself, your belief about yourself in the main themes and the sub themes are all harmonious and they're all positive, you will get everything that you want. And further than that, it will be extremely aligned with who you are. Because why are we pretending to be somebody that we're not to be chosen? Crickets. Why? For what reason? Right? Because now in doing that, you are not allowing yourself to experience a real thing, because now this person is choosing you based on a version of yourself you're presenting them because you're scared of being seen for who you really are, etc., etc. And now they're choosing you and you're like, oh my God, they finally chose me, but it's not really who you are. They're not really truly aligned with you. Unless you are your full authentic self, you will never be chosen fully for who you are. And it will always feel misaligned, and it will always feel like this thing you have to perform, and you will just get a very skewed mirror in your reality. You will always keep yourself in that almost version of love, in that almost full thing, in that almost dream life, because you're not fully choosing yourself. You're almost choosing yourself, you're almost loving yourself, so you're almost being loved, you're almost being chosen. You have to allow yourself to fully be chosen by yourself first in order for someone to mirror that back to you. And that is micro self-concept. Make sure that you are checking yourself in those daily seconds, in those minute by minute things, in those unconscious habits that you're doing, like brushing your teeth. Are you looking in the mirror and wondering about why you suck and blah, blah, blah? Or are you looking at yourself brushing your teeth thinking, I'm that bitch because I'm not looking at the head, so. You know what I mean? And I'm just going to add another step to this because it's important to give you evidence. So it's important that we create a portfolio of evidence. And again, apply this to your micro self-concept sub-themes, right? Let's just take my example again. In that moment that I was lying about liking astrology, I would go back in time and I would say that I like astrology so that I can see and give myself evidence that when I am fully showing up as myself, when I am not performing, when I am fully allowing myself to be seen for who I am behind closed doors when nobody's looking, what happens, right? Does it go good or does it go bad? It doesn't matter if it goes good or bad, it's neutral, but it's evidence that the world continues to move on. When nothing bad happens or something better comes from it, you now have evidence stockpiled in your portfolio. Like when I'm talking about my true self, when I'm expressing her, nothing bad happens. Like actually people connect with me more. I'm getting deeper connections. I'm feeling more connected to people. And your nervous system is now being trained to hold that higher version of yourself. And over time, that becomes your new default, where you're just naturally expressing yourself fully and authentically because you have now proven to yourself that it is safe. Your nervous system has to be trained to feel safe in life, general life, in any area of life. And the moment you do that, the moment you start sort of doing exposure therapy for the thing, you train your nervous system every second, every moment that you do it, like, hey, it's safe. We're safe here. And then your default version is your highest self. And it's just naturally who you are. And then your micro self-concept now matches your main self-concept, and reality stops giving you the almost version. So that little trick I wanted to share with you is pull up your birth chart and look for your Chiron. Okay, Chiron is like the wounded healer. So that placement, wherever it is in your chart, whatever house it's in and whatever sign it's in, is going to tell you what you are here to master, like your shadow self, basically. And again, I'm not like some expert at astrology, so if you're watching this and you are, and this is totally wrong, please do let me know in the comments. But from what I understand and how I've examined this in my own life is very accurate. So you're gonna look for Chiron, what house it's in and what sign it's in. Then we're gonna go to ChatGPT, you're gonna type that in. It is going to tell you your shadow self. So how do we add this into our micro self concept and this almost version of our dream life? If you are right now how I used to be, where I'm like, I'm doing everything right. What the heck? Why is reality still not reflecting the full thing back to me? You might be there in that position trying to figure it out for so long. We don't need to be doing that. Get this, read what it says about your specific shadow, and then link it back to your micro self concept. For me personally, my biggest wound on earth earth to heal is the fear of being seen, which a lot of people have that, but the specific placements that I have is fear of being seen, and that plays out in my love life and it plays out in my career. So fear of visibility, fear of being seen. So for me, when I learned that, I sort of put the pieces together like, hold on a second. My micro self-concept is this, and this. My sub-themes are this, and this. This is my shadow in life. Like, this is what I came to earth to transmute into power. This is matching up identically. So now that I know that my reality is reflecting back to me this almost version because my micro self-concept keeps playing out this wound and I'm being told that this is the wound, like this is my main wound, then all I have to do is change my self-concept to release this wound. I hope that makes a little bit of sense. And then you want to do the same thing for your purpose. So I hope that helped. Your life changes when your micro self-concept changes, not before. So it's not about what you post about, the cute quotes, the little affirmations on your mirror. It's the version of you hold when no one is watching, when the stakes are high, and when the emotional investment is deep. That right there sets the tone for everything. Your job is to stop stepping off the pedestal in those tiny moments, because once you do, reality will have literally no choice but to meet you there. If you want a deep scope of micro self-concept and macro self-concept, watch this video next.